a chorus of the voices.
Listen, rock and roll has legends, but it also has albums so bad they can ruin a band's reputation in one night. And today, we're counting down 10 of the worst rock albums of all time, the ones fans still argue about like it's personal. And this isn't just my opinion. These picks are fact-checked. Critically panned records, notorious flops, or albums even the artists themselves have tried to forget, plus the real reasons they crashed. Picture it, you're a die-hard fan, you buy the album on release day, you press play, and within 2 tracks, you're staring at the speakers like, what happened to my band? The production is wrong, the songs don't land, the vibe feels off, and you can hear the wheels coming off. Because the worst albums aren't just bad music, they're career detours, band breakups, label disasters, ego wars, and we tried something experiments that went way too far.
End of the spring, and here she comes.
Miss this list, and you miss the real cautionary tales of rock history. So stay to the end, because number 1 isn't just a bad album, it's the most infamous "what even is this" record in rock, and once you hear why it happened, you'll never look at rock disasters the same way again.
When I believed in nothing.
Number 10, David Bowie, Never Let Me Down. This one felt like walking into the record shop expecting magic, and walking out confused, still holding the bag. The songs have big 80s stadium energy, but it's like the sound is wearing shoulder pads too, shiny, loud, and kind of stiff. It dropped April 23rd, 1987 on EMI America, co-produced by Bowie and David Richards, and recorded at Mountain Studios, Montreux, and Power Station, NYC. Bowie even called it a return to rock and roll, but fans and critics often point to the heavy production and uneven writing as the problem, like the spark is trapped under glossy layers. Fun fact, decades later, Bowie's camp literally went back and did a newly produced version of this album for a box set, because even Bowie felt the original didn't land the way it should. Why it crashed, became infamous. It sits in that painful zone where nothing is terrible for a random band. But for Bowie, it felt like a wrong turn. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. And the next one? Same feeling. Legendary name, big expectations. But you can hear the band tension leaking through the speakers.
Hey, Rocklore community. Before we continue, let's have a real talk for a second, bro. You know, this isn't just a channel to us. And I hope it's not just a place you come to watch a video and then forget about it. This is a community. It's a place where we get to dig up the secrets of rock and roll, share our favorite riffs, and celebrate the artists who maybe didn't get the love they deserved. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are subscribed. We can change that together and grow this community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on. When you do, you're not just helping a channel grow, you're becoming a member of the Rocklore family. You're signaling to us and to YouTube that these stories matter, that this music is worth preserving, and that this community is a place you want to be. Subscribing is your way of making sure you're always in the loop. It means you'll be the first to know when we unearth a forgotten legend, drop a new countdown, or dive into a piece of rock history you've never heard before. So if you're a true fan of the lore, if you get that same feeling of discovery that I do, then come join us. It takes 1 second to be a part of something bigger.
Number 9, The Rolling Stones, Dirty Work. This album feels like a band showing up to work instead of showing up to fight for their lives. You put it on, and the riffs are there, the attitude is there, but the joy, it's missing. It's like a smoky bar at 2 a.m. where everybody's mad and nobody's leaving. Released March 24, 1986, on Rolling Stones Records Columbia, produced by Steve Lillywhite and the Glimmer Twins, and tracked across Paris and New York sessions. The big context is what makes it hurt. The band's internal relationships were messy during this period, and the album often gets framed as a product of that turbulence. Fun fact, it's one of the Stones albums people talk about like a time capsule of the mid-80s, where the production choices date it instantly. Why It Crashed became infamous. It doesn't feel like a hungry Stones album. It feels like a strained Stones album. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. Keep listening, because the next one is a different kind of disaster. Not messy, just bloated, like the album itself forgot when to end. Number 8. Van Halen, Van Halen III. This one feels like going to the party and realizing the band you love is in the corner trying to be serious, and the room doesn't know what to do with it. It's long, heavy, and kind of exhausting, like a great engine trapped in the wrong car. It came out March 17, 1998 on Warner Brothers, produced by Eddie Van Halen and Mike Post. Recorded at 50 Studios. The runtime alone tells the story. 65:22. This thing is a marathon. And the behind-the-scenes detail is wild. Bassist Michael Anthony only played on 3 songs. Eddie handled the rest of the bass parts. Fun fact, it's the only Van Halen studio album with Gary Cherone on vocals, so it's automatically a what-if chapter in their history. Why It Crashed became infamous. It doesn't give people the fun, fast, bright Van Halen feeling, and it overstays its welcome. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. Next up is a legendary band trying to go high art, and accidentally making one of rock's most famous misfires. Number 7. Kiss Music from The Elder. This album feels like Kiss walking into a fantasy movie that doesn't exist. You're waiting for the big riffs and the fire, but you get a theatrical story vibe that's heavier on concept than hooks. It's like putting on your leather jacket and ending up in a school play. Released November 10, 1981 on Casablanca, produced by Bob Ezrin, recorded across studios in Connecticut, New York and Canada. It was a huge stylistic detour. More orchestral, more narrative, more "we want critics to respect us," and the band didn't tour for it the way they normally would. Fun fact, the album has a cult following now, but it was so confusing at the time that it became one of rock's classic "what were they thinking" moments. Why It Crashed became infamous. It wasn't just different, it felt like Kiss stopped being Kiss for a minute, and fans didn't forgive it. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. And the next one? Not a concept album. This one is the sound of a great American band breaking apart from the inside. Number 6. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Mardi Gras. This album feels like a band trying to smile for the photo while the argument is still happening off camera.
737 coming out of the sky. Oh, won't you take me down to Memphis?
You can hear the unevenness, like the engine is running, but the steering wheel is loose. It's not that every track is awful. It's that the magic glue is gone. It dropped April 11th, 1972 on Fantasy Records, recorded at Wally Hyder, San Francisco.
It's on a midnight ride, I won't move. Paying in a travel.
And Fantasy Studio A, Berkeley. Production credits were split between Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, and John Fogerty, and it's the only CCR studio album as a trio after Tom Fogerty left. The sessions were marked by creative tension, and the band broke up shortly after. Fun fact, it's one of those albums where the behind-the-scenes story is louder than the music. People listen to hear the cracks.
Bang, yeah, let it fly across the land.
Why It Crashed became infamous. CCR fans wanted that unstoppable run to continue, but this felt like the ending credits. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. Keep going, because the next one is a different kind of pain, a legendary catalogue, and then an album that feels like a bad vacation commercial. Number 5, The Beach Boys, Summer in Paradise. This one feels like the sun is shining, but your brain is screaming, why does this sound like that? You can picture the early 90s CD rack, you press play, and it's like the band is trying to chase modern trends with a plastic smile.
That's when I had most of my...
Released August 3rd, 1992, on Brother Records, US, and EMI, UK, produced mainly by Terry Melcher. It's widely described as the band's critical and commercial low point, and it failed to chart in both the US and UK. It's also their only studio album made without Brian Wilson's involvement, which matters when you're talking about the Beach Boys' DNA. Fun fact, in North America, it was released only on CD and cassette, with a rare vinyl run elsewhere, so it became this weird, harder to find, but not because people wanted it, artifact. Why It Crashed became infamous. It's not just dated. It feels like a band trying to repaint their classic sound with the wrong brush. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. And next, the controversy pick is coming soon. But first, we have the heavy metal giant that dropped an album fans still argue about like it's politics.
Saint Anger around my neck.
Number 4, Metallica St. Anger. This album feels like a fist through drywall. No polish, no comfort, just raw anger and tension, like you're inside the band's rehearsal room while everything is falling apart.
Saint Anger around my neck.
For some people it's honest, for others it's unbearable. It came out June 5th, 2003 on Elektra, US and Vertigo, elsewhere, produced by Bob Rock and Metallica, recorded partly at the Presidio, San Francisco, and Metallica's HQ in San Rafael.
He never gets respect.
The headline facts are real. It has a raw metallic drum sound and no guitar solos, and it was made during a turbulent period that later became the documentary Some Kind of Monster. Fun fact, Metallica pushed the release date forward due to fears of leaks after the Napster era, so this thing hit the world with extra pressure on it.
Saint Anger around my neck.
Why It Crashed became infamous. It's one of those albums where the vibe is so extreme that half the audience hears truth and the other half hears, why are you doing this to me? Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale, and the next one, it's not just bad, it's one of the most polarizing collaborations rock ever dared to release.
I am a chorus of the voices.
Number 3, Lou Reed and Metallica, Lulu. This album feels like two worlds colliding and refusing to compromise. You put it on expecting riffs and choruses, and instead you get heavy music under spoken word intensity, like a dark theatre play happening inside a metal rehearsal space.
The gather of the magnets set before.
Released October 31st, 2011 on Warner Brothers US and Vertigo elsewhere, co-produced by Lou Reed, Metallica, Hal Wilner, Greg Fidelman, recorded at Metallica's HQ in San Rafael. It's built around Reed's lyrics and a concept inspired by Lulu plays, and it got a lot of negative reaction from fans when early tracks hit.
Me.
Fun fact, James Hetfield has said Reed didn't like doing second takes, so the sessions had this "what you get is what you get" energy, which explains why it feels so confrontational.
I attract you and repel you.
Why it crashed, became infamous. It demanded listeners meet it on its own terms, and most people were not ready. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. Keep listening, because the next one isn't just a bad album. It's a band collapsing, a manager takeover story, and a record that got basically exiled.
Darling, you got to let me know.
Number 2, The Clash, Cut the Crap. This one feels like you're watching a great band from the cheap seats after the key players already left the stage. The sound is harsh, synthetic, and strangely hollow, like punk rock filtered through bad studio decisions and stress. Released on November 4th, 1985 on CBS UK, produced under the pseudonym Jose Unidos, which was the band's manager Bernie Rhodes, and recorded at Weriton Studios in Germany after a turbulent lineup collapse.
Should I stay or should I go?
The record was immediately maligned, and Joe Strummer later disowned it. The album is also often left out of major Clash compilations and even missing from the band's official discography pages. Fun fact, the album has one track, This Is England, that many people still admit has real heart, like you can hear the band's greatness trying to survive under the mess.
If you say that you are mine, I'll be here.
Controversy pay off. Remember what I teased earlier. Okay, this is the one. The controversy isn't some tabloid rumor, it's the power struggle behind the music. In interviews and histories, it's been said there were different versions of who controlled what. Some accounts frame it as Strummer fighting for the band's direction, while others highlight Rhodes's heavy influence on the production and presentation. What's clear is the context.
Till the end of time. So you got to let.
Key members were gone, new players were in, and the album ended up sounding like a compromise nobody loved. The backlash was so strong, Strummer publicly distanced himself, and the record's legacy became the album we don't talk about. That's why this isn't just music, it's history. You can literally hear the end of an era.
Me know. Should I stay or should I go?
Why it crashed, became infamous. It's the rare rock album that feels like a funeral for a band that used to feel immortal. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale. And now, number 1. This isn't bad like weak songs. It's the ultimate what even is this rock moment.
Quick break. If you love music stories like this, check out our sponsor, The Lore Store on Amazon. It's like a special music collection with books, vinyl, gear, and culture picks for rock, pop, hip-hop, R&B, Afro music, and reggae. What I like is that it's not random stuff. Everything is picked on purpose, and there are some real hidden gems in there. And just so you know, when a good item sells out, it may not come back. The link is in the description, and if you shop through it, you're also supporting this channel.
Number 1, Lou Reed, Metal Machine Music. This album feels like plugging your guitar straight into a lightning storm and letting it scream for an hour. You don't get songs, you don't get hooks, you get pure noise, like the speakers are melting and daring you to stay in the room. It was released in July 1975 as a double album on RCA Victor, produced by Lou Reed, and it was famously taken off the market about 3 weeks later. It's made of modulated feedback and noise, no traditional structure, so people who bought it expecting another Lou Reed album felt betrayed. Fun fact, it became a landmark for noise music later on, but at release it was treated like a career-risking move. Critics and fans didn't even have language for it. Why it crashed became infamous, because it's the ultimate test. Are you here for rock songs? Or are you willing to follow an artist into chaos? Most people said no. Real heads keep this one like a cautionary tale, and if you survived that, congratulations, you've just walked through the darkest hallway in rock history.